Adina. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I should have put on my voodoo lip, my purple voodoo lip. Nevertheless, here I am. Here you are. Here we are. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina, your resident medium for the evening. If this is your first time joining me, I am pleased to meet you for the first time. And if you are a regular here, welcome. Jasmine, welcome. JD, welcome. Happy Wednesday, ladies. Happy day of Mercury. Even if it is retrograde, happy Wednesday. Hey, April. Happy Wednesday. I was a little late because my aunt is in town. She's staying here, and I was trying to get her settled. Hello, Miss Carol. How are you guys doing today? Amazing. I hope and I pray. Eh. Jasmine, I'm glad to see you. I don't think I've seen you in a couple of lives. You're doing amazing. Good, Miss Carol. I'm glad to hear that. So let me just go ahead and start with one announcement that I have. A little bit of Beyond the Veil business. I have been speaking to a lot of my clients. That's good that you're busy with work. That means you have a job to be busy with. And some people don't. I'm amazing, actually. In fact, I'm feeling so great that I am going to offer a group ceremony. It is one that I have never offered. It is a new rite that is being done, and it was actually born from a consultation. A couple of weeks ago, I had a consultation with a few of my clients, back to back, and they all, including myself, had seemed to be at the same place spiritually. And as I was talking to about the third of them, I heard my spirit say, "Bring my children to me." And I conferred with my spirits about what that meant, and they gave me what I call the butterfly ceremony. Um, and I will do a separate video to explain in detail what that is, because you guys came here for a reading. Nevertheless, I don't even know if I will allow, I won't say allow. I think if anybody wants to participate in this ceremony, I will have to pull a card or so and see if this is the ceremony for them, because I don't think it's going to be for everybody. But it's actually to help you shapeshift into a new identity. Um, this is kind of, if you are at a place, especially spiritually or personally and evolutionary within yourself, where you've like, I've outgrown so much of my life. I've outgrown this identity that identify with. I've outgrown the place that I live in. I've outgrown the people that I encounter on a day-to-day. I've outgrown the mindset. I've outgrown some of my own bad habits. And I am ready to shift into a version of myself that I desire for myself. And I'm ready to do that holistically. This this ceremony is kind of like a, a burial preparation, or a preparation to be ushered into the divine, so that the divine mother actually can have her way with you. This is something that I feel like is being called for a lot of people. There is a calling from the divine for a lot of people to kind of baptize themselves from the old version of themselves. If you have grown spiritually and mentally and otherwise, now it is time to step into that if you feel called to do so. The ceremony is kind of just like me baptizing, anointing, bathing, and prepping you guys to be ushered into the divine. I have done it for myself and a few other people. I think 3 other people, because it is so new. It will become a service, but I want to offer it as a group ceremony because, for one, my group ceremonies are always one price, and that is $50 no matter what the regular price of the ceremony is. And because this isn't me actually doing woo on you per se, this is kind of me um, doing kind of what in the Egyptian days when a pharaoh or a queen had passed away, and they take the 3 days before the burial to do certain rituals to prepare the body to go into the divine realm. They bathe it with, fresh spring waters and milk and honeys and herbs and incenses and perfumes, and they do certain ceremonies, like I mentioned, to not just anoint and prepare the physical body, but also the spiritual self to be ushered into the divine realm. This is kind of what this ceremony is, but I don't want anybody to do it if you're not ready to kind of surrender to the divine and usher yourself into a new space. It's definitely ushering you into a metamorphosis, which is why they told me to call it the butterfly ritual. And I'll go into details more when I do a video to explain that ceremony and its significance. Nevertheless, I wanted to mention that I'm offering it. I haven't decided on the date, but I'll post that. It'll be a couple of weeks from now, and it will have to be on a Friday, the day of Venus, and I'll do it in the hour of Venus. Nevertheless, you guys can email me at beyondtheveiladina@gmail.com if you are interested in that, or if you are already in contact with me and you have my number. You can text me. Pulling a card to see if you should get the ceremony is at no charge, because I'm just going to see if you should or shouldn't. Okay, Jackie Christie. Now, listen. I get that there may be really tumultuous relationships with our parents, especially us millennials. We definitely can have parent trauma. So I don't negate that. I have my own parent trauma. Like I mentioned, my daddy did 20 years in the feds and he got out, and we still don't have a relationship to this day. His choice. My mama, she got, I think, all of her personal planets except for one in Aquarius. So y'all just take that and make that what you will of having an Aquarius mother with almost all of her personal planets in Aquarius. Literally. It's Aquarius in her chart, and then a whole cluster of planets, and then maybe 1 or 2 straggling somewhere else. So I have my own parent trauma, so I get that. However, I just feel like before it comes to getting into a physical altercation with my mother, I will absolutely disengage, walk away. I will shut up, I'll walk away, I'll leave. And if the relationship is that fractured, then I just will erect boundaries in space. And if I have a mother who pushes herself onto me aggressively, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to let her. I'm going to ball up in a fetal position like this and let my mama do it. Because for one, I know my mama can't beat my ass. Not because she can't throw hands, but because she's in an age now where I could probably take her punches and her licks and be all right because she older. She ain't got that much endurance, that much stamina, that much energy, that much muscle strength. So if she hit me, it's not gonna hurt. I'm gonna be all right. It ain't gonna last that long. I'm gonna just be like, all right, mama, hey, mama, boy, I'm about to shoot your ass. You better. I'm gonna be talking shit, but I'm gonna let her get it out, and then when she's done, I'm going to leave, and that'll be the last time she see or hear from me until she humbles herself upon my feet. I'm not gonna hit my mama back. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna do it. Cause what if I knock her into glory? I can't live with that. Like I said, our mamas is older. So why is we gonna hit them like they a woman in the street? What if we send them into dementia? You know? What if we hit them and that's the last straw that it take in order for them to have arthritis? They got brittle bones. I'm not. Well, I don't want to live with that. I got sisters to answer to. I got a whole family to answer to. If I knock my mama head between the washer and the dryer and she don't get up. So those are the things that I take into consideration these days in my elderly age before I crash out. Hey, Will. Will, I hope that's you waving and not slapping your mama. I'm not gonna do it. And to be honest, in my mama's heyday, if my mama was Jackie age, because my mama's older than Jackie, if my mama was Jackie's age, y'all would still be peeling my mama off of me because I'm not gonna fight her back. But whether I fight her back or not, she gonna fight me to the death. If she gets to that point where she gonna put her hands on me, it don't matter if I don't defend myself. That might make her even madder because she wanna have an excuse to take my head off. So y'all would still be pulling Brenda, aka Tiger Lee, off of me. And then the rest of y'all who ain't doing that would still be picking up the Mario coins that she knocked out of my head. If I fought my mama, my sisters would join in and they would all jump me. I'm not gonna lie, my sisters would jump me. They would. And if they kids see me fighting their mamas and their grandma, then the kids they gonna be like, they gonna probably cry. The kids ain't gonna jump in, nah. The kids gonna cry because they ain't gonna want to choose sides between a TT Dina. And they don't be liking their grandma sometimes either. So. But yeah, my sister's gonna jump me with my mama. So that's why I can't do it. But I got my own personal bias out of the way. Let me. Now, this is not a funny situation. I got that key out because we seen the clip, right? So I'm sure we all laughed. I'm not gonna front like I didn't be like, damn. But this is a very sad situation. Now, I heard somewhere that they actually, in the past, Jackie and both of her daughters went to therapy and they all agreed to put the past in the past. Thank you, Alex. So, and I actually saw the other daughter, Takari, commenting kind of in defense of Jackie and saying that the live just glitched out. Are you guys back? Are you still here? Should I start over? Somebody tell me if we're working good now or I will start the live over. It's clear? Okay. All right. Um, so I saw the sister saying something about she will always protect her mother. And so that's good because I know that their relationship was actually really bad. She was actually the black sheep. So I would say I'm surprised that Chantel is the one who act that way as the golden child, but I'm not because the golden child is actually the one sometimes who does that. The black sheep does whatever they can to get the love of the parent that they're not getting it from. So they're not gonna crash out like that unless they're, emotionally involved or defending themselves, but the other one that had it all and that saw the parent showing favoritism, their ego, can go the other way. And I think that's what it looks like for Miss Chantel. And the way she's seen, I don't watch Basketball Wives, so all I know of this situation is the clips of them getting into an altercation. I was watching Basketball Wives in the olden days when both of her daughters were kind of on the show a little bit, and then they went away to grow up. And so I know that she has an estranged relationship, but I did hear that they all went to therapy and agreed to move past things. So the way that things exploded now is interesting. And some of the things that I noticed, I'm not a therapist, but hearing Chantel mention call Doug, it almost is like now she seems to think that her mother isn't deserving of the life she has, the love that she has for her father because of the mother that she was to them. And that's why I get the feelings that Chantel has. I just don't agree with one coming on a show, which is your mother's job, because I'm not going to go to my mother's job if I know we have an estranged relationship and make it my business to air out our estranged relationship. For one, I want peace in my life, so I'm going to avoid conflict as much as I can if we already don't have to be around each other. Um, and secondly, I'm not going to try to play my parents against each other because before I was born, that was my mama man. And I'm only here because that was my mama man. And so I'm going to respect that, and I'm not going to try to interfere with that, because what would that do to me if my parents broke up, unless that's what I want. Unless I don't want to see my mother with my father because I think that my father is too good for her. And because I don't think that she did right by me, and so I don't see why my father dotes on her and the world is a fan of her. I don't think that's fair that she gets to have the fame, the fortune, the adoration from my dad when look how she made me feel. That's how I see it. But um, let's see what the spirits have to say about this situation between Jackie, Christie, and her daughter Chantel. I'm going to start with the oracles because this is a sad situation, and I think there is generational trauma involved. Most High Mother and Father God, I submit myself before you, not as a comedian or anyone seeking to entertain, but as a vessel. Please allow me to conjure up the collective energies of Jackie Christie and her daughter Chantel. Even the heavens, I'm sure, is aware of that slap heard around the world, seen around the world, um, between a mother and her daughter. What does the divine have to say about um, the physical altercation and the relationship between Jackie Christie and her daughter Chantel? The baby is hurt and angry. I imagine Jackie she may have been either Chantel or Takari in her childhood. And somebody says she grew up in foster care. So it sounds like she may have been the Takari in her child and then grew up into the Chantel. They say that your children will always come out showing all the things about yourself that you didn't want to see. That's why they call it a generational curse, but I like to call it generational karma because women trap trauma in their wombs, and we are the ones who give birth to humans. So if we still have certain traumas trapped in our wombs that we haven't healed, um, then our children will absolutely sit in that energy and accumulate that. So that's how typically things are passed down. besides just physical or biological ailments. You may, pick up this or go through some of the same things that your parent did and find yourself wanting to kind of break the cycle in your life, repeating things that your parents went through. That's how it happens. I mean, because you're taking energy, the raw energy during the moment of sex, and it's going straight from raw energy into an explosion of a new creation. Whatever is flowing in that current of energy, you're going to pass down to your child. So it's good to be healthy, healed before you have children. But we don't, and then things like this happen. So all we can do is try to work through them and learn from them. All right, Spirit, what do you have to say about Jackie, Christie, and her daughter, Chantel? Conclusions are within reach. Whatever conclude, and this in reverse. So I do believe that they had some sort of conclusions in the past. I do believe that they went to therapy, and if they didn't completely heal, they got to a place where, like it was said, they were going to be able to let the past be the past and maybe try to build on the future. And so this is residuals. If they did have therapy, somebody still had residual unexpressed emotions. And it's probably Chantel. Because since Jackie is a responsible party, I believe that she would be the most happy with leaving the past in the past and starting fresh with her daughters, because she's responsible for a lot of their trauma. So I think that she would be the one to walk, the straight line the most, because she bears the brunt of whatever their issues are. I think that Takari has found a way to heal. And I think that Chantel still has some residual feelings that are unhealed and unexpressed. This definitely is going to set them back. You're very close to achieving your goal. I think that Jackie thought that they were going to be able to coexist on this platform together, with maybe a little bit of drama, but I didn't think she expected this because of whatever conclusions they came to in the past. Surrender to the divine. I feel like I feel like the divine is saying in this situation, there is no fixing, to be honest. There can only be an acknowledgement, but I don't think there is any fixing because of surrender to the divine. Somebody is not willing to let things go. Somebody isn't I won't say willing, somebody will never be, I don't think, at least not right now. Somebody, and I think it's Chantel, is not able to let go of whatever her issues are with her mother. So there's nothing that Jackie can do to reach her goal, even though I think she's trying, simply because this card is upright. And I saw her daughter online defending her other daughter, which is the one who even everybody acknowledges that Jackie did wrong. They seem to be in a better place. I think Jackie's been trying since whatever they did to get past things. I think Chantel is the one who can't let it go. And I think that's just me saying I think. So I'll stick with the answers you need are coming. The Two-Face card, Gemini, Mercury. Now, this did happen while Uranus is in Mercury, and Mercury has joined several other planets in a retrograde. This is generational karma coming up to be addressed in a way where nobody can tiptoe around it anymore. It's been magnified so much now that there is no trying to pacify or have superficial relationships anymore after this. Whatever it is, it will have to be. And everybody's just going to have to get to a place where it is what it is, and that's what it is until it ain't that no more. Because I think that Jackie probably isn't willing to try to go to Chantel and be like, hey, let's talk about this. I don't think Chantel is going to be able to do that because Chantel wants to be vindicated for what wrong she thinks she's righteous in. I think the only thing that would make Chantel feel better is to see Jackie be humbled. I think she wants to see Jackie be punished for whatever she's upset about. I feel that she feels like her mother doesn't deserve to be loved by the fans and to also be adored by by her father and have him constantly defending her. But to that, I just have to go back to saying that was Jackie's husband before that was your daddy. So if they didn't have a good relationship, then you wouldn't have been here. If they had a bad relationship, they might have broken up long before they were even able to get with you. So they have to have a love for each other in order for you even to be here and have a platform, Chantel. That's the only part of the respect that I feel like is due, which is why I said I just don't understand why she went to her mother's job. Out of all the jobs in the world, Craig, you went on your mama's job, which is Nationals TV, which is called Basketball Wives. Is Chantel a basketball wife? I think her husband is an athlete of some sort. Spirit, why his conclusions are within reach here? Wheel of Fortune reverse. If Jackie wants to fix this, then the other parties that are involved have to be in agreement, which is why conclusions are within reach. And the Wheel of Fortune in reverse means things were going good. Things were turning for the better. Now things are turning for the worse. Now there are 4 major components in this card. Jackie and her 2 girls are 3. One of them could be a therapist. One of them could be Doug. The therapist could be the wheel in the middle, helping everybody get along. So I think this is the Christie family, and I think this is therapists in the middle that they were going to help them. But in reverse, all that work is now turned upside down, with conclusions are in reach turned upside down. You're very close to achieving your goal. What is that here for, Spirit? Somebody's attempt to start fresh. This is a new emotional beginning. I think it's from Jackie because she's the divine hand offering this. And she's only the divine hand because she's the mother. So she's the reason that all of the children are here and have emotions. So if Jackie says, you know what, I will try to do better, then I think that's an opportunity here, an ace, an opportunity here for everyone to heal. Cup, emotions. By Jackie saying, here, I will try to do better, then everybody else involved can now heal. In reverse, which is why you're very close to achieving your goal is here, because I think Jackie tried. I think she's been trying. In reverse, though, somebody is saying, F your cup. Somebody's knocking the cup right out of her hand. I do think that they had reached a successful conclusion in the past. Surrender to the divine in reverse. Deal Mills. Unresolved hurts. And actually, this is actually the desire to not surrender to the divine hand offering you a brand new fresh start, which is her mother. I don't want it. In fact, I want to hurt you because I'm hurt. Hurt people are hurting people in this regard. I think she wanted to hurt her mother. And I'm not just talking about in that fighting moment. I'm talking about by her coming onto the show. I think it was less about the money, because the money was the icing on the cake. I think it was because of the opportunity to inflict pain, embarrassment on her mother. I think she wanted, unlike, because I think in therapy, and I wasn't there, but this is just me using my mind. I think in therapy, All parties were held accountable for their healing. And so, if Jackie is in therapy and she's doing the things and she's being accountable to Takari and she's being accountable to Chantel, and Takari is saying, yes, this is all I ever wanted. Yes, great. Me and my mom can have a fresh new start. They're good. I think the problem in therapy and the reason why Chantel wanted to use the show is to rehash what they discussed in therapy, is because in therapy, the therapist is going to hold her accountable too. Especially if Jackie is saying, you're right, Chantel, I didn't do this. You're right, Chantel, I should have done this. Can we start over? Then the therapist is going to say, Chantel, are you able to start fresh with your mother? Now, if Chantel says no, now we have to dig into what her issues are. Now the issue is no longer Jackie. Now it's you. That's what happens in therapy. On TV, though, you can let out your grievances and let the general public and their emotions and projections defend your position so that you don't have to be accountable for your healing. You can just rest in your hurt until it's vindicated instead of healed. That's what this is, unfortunately. And again, I do think that she plays in between her parents. The Lovers reverse. I think she tries to play her parents against each other. But Doug gonna ride for Jackie. Doug then knew what kind of woman Jackie was. She had Takari when he got with her. So whatever dirty drawers she wears, he loves them. Are you guys still here? I just want to make sure before I continue that I'm not talking to myself, because that happens sometimes. Oh, I'm by myself? Okay, all right, all right. That's all I need. Okay. Most High Mother and Father God, please again allow me to conjure up. I actually want to read Chantel. Please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and the collective energy of Chantel, maiden name Christie, daughter of Jackie and Doug Christie, the young woman who recently found herself in a physical altercation with her mother on national television and got slapped on national television by her mother after she bucked up at her mother. That Chantel, please allow me to see into the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Chantel Christie. Don't know what her new last name is. Compel her to speak her spirit and soul's truth and keep absolutely nothing hidden from me. I smell so much heat. Heat has a smell to it for me. I smell so much heat. Her energy is full of rage. The kind of rage, you ever been so mad where your whole body feels hot and you get a headache? That headache mad, where you're just so mad that you could give yourself a fever. I smell that kind of rage. That kind of rage has a sulfuric and iron and charcoal smell to it under my nostril, and blood even, and tears. There's a desire for vengeance. Even still, even more so now, there's a desire for vengeance, I believe. And everything I'm about to say and have said is according to my imagination. It's my metaphysical opinion. Take it with a grain of salt. Chantel, talk to me about your relationship with your mother, Jackie Christie, as it stands today. Chantel Christie, talk to me about how you feel about your mother, Jackie Christie, currently, and where is this relationship headed for you guys from your perspective? The damn devil card. My nostrils never lie. I said sulfur. I said fire, rage, tears, blood, iron, charcoal, brimstone. Rage. What's more rageful, vengeful than the devil? Look at this card. Just take a moment to just look at it and take in the energy for yourself. This is me allowing you guys to exercise your psychic muscle, and you do that just by looking at the card and letting it look back at you and see what you feel. As you look at the card and as it looks back at you, tell me what you feel in the chat. What does this card make you feel? Okay. Thank you for blocking, April. I think that this is Doug and Chris. This is Doug. This is Jackie. And this is Chantel. As above, so below. And the torch is getting ready to burn Doug here. Because as I feel, so I want my father to feel. So the fire that I smelled is coming from off of the torch from the devil. And it lights the tail of this man, Doug. As above, so I think, and so I think, so I want you to do and think and actually act. Because when I light this fire to your butt, you're supposed to move. I think this is Chantel in between her father and her mother. And I think the best thing that could ever happen, or the worst thing that Chantel thinks could happen to Jackie, is losing Doug. Or Doug not being on her side. But Chantel, if I just interpret this card as it is, both of them are chained. One, the woman and the man are both chained around their neck to you. The equal yoke, because they're both your parents, so they have to deal with you. But neither one of them are joyful about being chained to this devil. And you may not be able to see, but the woman is looking up at the devil. The man is looking at the woman. You can Google the devil card if you can't see it that clearly, but look, she's looking up. Your mother is looking at you. Your father here is looking at his wife, making sure she's okay, while you guys are both chained to this devil. His concern is making sure the fair lady is okay despite them both being in this situation. It's almost like if he could break himself away just enough to reach the chain to free her, he would, even if it doesn't mean freeing himself. He's actually reaching out to her. Let me help you, my fair lady. Let me help you. Look, she's helpless, looking up at the devil, her daughter. Like, what can I do? He's looking at her and reaching his arm out. Let me help you. If I can only get to you, I can help you. Bad move trying to play Doug Christie against his wife. I'm sure in his career of being a star athlete, many of people have tried to do that because Jackie's reputation precedes her. She's been a handful. She is a life of her own. I've seen shows that feature Jackie Christie as a basketball wife before the show Basketball Wives. It's why Shawnee even wanted her on there, because they knew she was a hoot, a handful. And she had a lot of drama going on. So, and he stood by her and married her every year throughout his all of this time. You know how many athletes get tried on the road? That man had his wife on the road with him. Okay? He didn't let groupies come in between him and his wife. He didn't let his NFL career come in, NBA career come in between his wife. He didn't let the media, while he was in his heyday, come in between his wife. And he hasn't let the media, while she's been exposing herself on Basketball Wives, to come in between him and his wife. So he ain't gonna let you do it either. Even if he seems docile, that's his way of standing his ground. He's just trying to let you know that you're my child. I don't want to outwardly choosing sides, but me not agreeing with you every time you come in between your mother is me saying, I'm not going to let you come in between me and your mother. So good luck with that, but that's in your present position, honey. So I see that's what you want. You want daddy to step in and say, bad Jackie. And the challenging. Here's the Wheel of Fortune again. But it's upright this time because challenging the situation with you, Chantel, you guys went to therapy. Looks like family therapy. Looks like somebody got into the middle of you guys' family unit and helped turn it around for the better. Which is why that's a challenge crossing this devil. Because you are one of the parties who was involved in saying, let's turn things around for the better. Now you on TV saying my mother, is this, and this big, this bad person. That may be true. But after therapy, if she continued to be the bad person, I think by these two cards, especially if you guys doing better is challenging you, I think that at this point you are holding up the process for everybody now. Past position. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. And I was going to say the past position is going to explain why you're so angry. Despite having it all. Ten of Pentacles. Despite having it all, growing up in the lap of luxury, this young girl felt empty. She felt like having it all was nothing. I think maybe her parents were always gone. If Doug was on the road, Jackie was on the road. And so her parents were always gone. There were no real family moments or family bonding created. The relationship that her mother had playing favorites between the two of them, it didn't just damage Takari, it also created some damage within Chantel. Who knows what kind of pressures she was under to be her mom's favorite and to not disappoint her like Takari did. Because if I get on your bad side, you're going to outcast me like you did your other child. So I have to do everything to make you like me. I have to always look the best. I have to always be the smartest so that you won't cast me away. Because I've seen you do that with your children. I think that's a part of it. I think that this family had money, but from Takari's perspective, they didn't have family. I don't think the money solved anything for them other than them not having to struggle materially. Page of Cups. I do know that Chantel released her own statement. I do think that she was hoping for more I think her statement was in response to social media responses, which is why this page is looking at the fish in the cup. Because based on social media's response, she felt the need to come out and defend herself. She may continue to do so. She may continue to move with the narrative of her being right due to whatever emotional trauma she has. Eight of Pentacles in reverse, crowning her. I don't, I don't, I think that Jackie wants her or would like to make her lose her job or look bad on her job. Only because this is the workmanship card and this is actually perfecting your craft. Jackie has perfected her spot on Basketball Wives. One can argue that Jackie is Basketball Wives. She is the show. In reverse for Chantel, I think that she used her mother's show to make her look bad and maybe knock her down a notch. Make the place where Jackie is beloved. Since I can't turn my dad against her, let me see if I can turn the general public against her. It's just like, if I can't do it this way, let me try this way. Let me try this way. All the ways that my mother is loved or, has something that I don't feel like she should, let me try to interfere with it and cause problems. This is stirring up conflict. Now, this should be stirring up conflict, or this could be stirring up conflict in order to get harmony. Meaning, let's call some things out on the carpet so that we can all come to an agreement. This can also be, depending on the cards around it and its context, this can be starting a battle with people who are otherwise peaceful. Because to get to the Five of Wands, it comes from the Four of Wands, a very peaceful state where everybody's on one accord and happy. Somebody else entered the equation that caused this disruption to make it 5. 4 plus 1 is 5. So from the 4 of peace and stability is the 5 of conflict. Chantel is the one who entered the show that was already 4, stable and foundational, in order to do this with her mother at her job. She was looking for the public to agree with her. This is her feeling like, I deserve to get up here and air out my grievances in a place where everyone can hear me and everyone can rise up in agreement with me. But external to her, social media is loving seeing her getting bebopped aside the head, and they're loving Jackie for doing it. The reason being with the 9 of Cups is because I think that they feel like Jackie was not the aggressor. Hopes and fears, here's the aggressor card. This is a person standing their ground and being a formidable ally. So despite Chantel getting bopped, she fights very well against her mother in other ways. Maybe not violence, but that Devil card tells me, this 5 of Wands tells me, she may not go up against her mother aggressively all the time, but she does try to fight with her mother in other ways. Just not blow for blow, because her mama can beat her up. And this card tells me, hopes and fears, that if Jackie wanted to hurt her daughter, she could have, but she practiced restraint. After Chantel kind of bowed up at Jackie, she did knock her and say, don't hit me, I'll beat your A. Then she was right back calm because she wasn't trying to fight her daughter. It was a response, I think, a reaction. She was right back to being calm and saying, I'm going to go to my room. And right before that, she was telling Chantel to go ahead and leave. Chantel walked to the door, wanted to get some more rah-rah in the argument, turned around and came back, yapping. And we all saw the rest. If you didn't, it's somewhere on social media. Google it, because that's how I got the thumbnail. Outcome, the Hermit. I can see isolation. If they don't go to therapy again, then there's going to be isolation. And even if they do go to therapy, there's isolation. This card doesn't give me healing. The hermit is on a healing journey. He's on a self reflecting journey. He's on a solitary journey. Chantel may choose to be estranged if this isn't therapy. And I actually think that temperance would have been therapy, somebody alchemizing the situation. I think Chantel may choose to be estranged from her mother. I don't see her coming back to the show. I don't think she's going to come back to the show. Let me clarify the hermit. There's a decision made already. And it could be Jackie saying, y'all can't have us both. Or somebody saying that. Whoever may have been, whoever's on the show longer. This is Jackie. And this King of Wands, this may be a producer or whoever makes decisions for the show. And I don't think it's Shawnee. Like an executive producer or somebody. They'll make their decision based on who the aggressor was, maybe, or this is Jackie saying, I'm not coming back if y'all do, because my daughter about it, routed. She's trying to get me. I think that Jackie may say, I will leave if y'all give her another contract. I don't think they will. I think they're going to ride with Jackie. If that's what's happening here. We'll see. Yeah, somebody's going to say, I would rather leave them if y'all bring her back. Something may have happened before, and Doug may have had to intervene. Like with the show. It could have been them trying to get one of her daughters on the show before, or trying to exploit the rift with her daughters before. Could have been Takari. There was an issue before on the show with Takari, and I think Doug didn't like it. He may have gotten into it with an executive about it, and they settled it that way. Near future, the Page of Cups. Their relationship is fractured. Somebody might be leaving the show. Somebody will put out that they're not coming back, maybe. Not sure, but their relationship is fractured. If it's not about her leaving the show, I think Chantel may have more to say, or something else residual is going to come out about this situation. I don't know if Doug is going to get involved in this. He might. I don't think he's happy about this at all. And Chantel, I think that your dad may feel like you do things to come in between them. I don't think that you're gaining favor with Doug. Let me look into the devil. I think that your dad feels like you're trying to break up their marriage, and that you have done that. Through some sort of jealous and envy, you've been trying to get him to choose sides between them. And all Doug wants is a happy family. Now, this is the Four of Wands that I'm talking about. Two happy people here saying, hello, welcome into our humble abode. But somebody comes in and starts this from the 4 to the 5. I think even your father feels like that's you. All he wants is for healing and everybody in his family to get along, Chantel. That's what will help your dad, even temper your mom. But you can't get him to leave your mom. You won't be the one to do that. He'll have to come to that conclusion on his own, but you won't do it. 10 of Cups in the past position. To be honest, I think Chantel may have always wanted more from her father. If he had a very active career while Chantel was growing up, and not just when Takari was growing up. I'm sorry, I need to sip something. I think she wanted more emotional support from her father. If the public perception of Doug Christie is true, and he can be very passive, mild-mannered, but when you have an alpha wife and a bunch of women in the house, you have to assert yourself, because all those women and all those strong alpha energies can cause chaos. And sometimes only the man in the house can come step in and say, hey, 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 everybody, shut the hell up. And everybody will. I think that Chantel wanted you to be more empathetic with her and not more empathetic with Jackie. I think there might have been times where she wanted you to be her knight in shining armor when her mother may have been Jackieing. When Jackie was Jackieing, I think she wanted you to be her knight in shining armor for emotional support. And I don't think you were, Doug. I think that Doug left in his absence of working. I think that he left a lot of tasks to be delegated by others. Obviously, because he was busy. So he has staff, he has, I don't know, and his wife has to hold things down. But I think that Chantel wanted you to step in and delegate things more, instead of maybe letting Jackie, instead of being so tied up in you guys together. I think she wanted maybe even you to say, hey, Jackie, you can't follow me around all the time. You got to be home with the kids. I want you to do this and make sure that this is straight. I want you to be home cooking, stuff like that. I think that's what Chantel wanted. Again, I think she wanted her father to be more assertive instead of more soft. Especially when it came to the mother, her mother. Now here's the therapy. I don't know if either of them are an air sign, but I definitely see in the so below behind this chaos, I think they went to therapy. I think they went to a therapist. Somebody non-emotional and logical to help them work things out. And yet here we are. So that's that with that. Oh, I think Doug is mad. I don't think Doug is happy about the fight. I don't think he's happy at all. I don't think he's happy about being put in between them either. So good luck, ladies. It seems that y'all both love Doug. So if not for each other, Do it for Doug. Because he's clearly, provided a good life for everybody. He's still married to his wife. He's still, not involved in any scandals or anything. So the least y'all can do is create a peaceful home and a peaceful home life for the man who provided you the lifestyle that all of you have been afforded. I'm just saying. I do think, Chantel, you may find yourself on the outs though with that hermit card. If you were looking for Doug to have your back, the hermit card is on a solo journey, solitude. There's nobody there with him. That's what's in your outcome. So Doug chose a side, I believe, and it's his wife. Doug has to grow old with somebody, and he can't do that with his daughter. I think Doug will gladly choose his wife. She takes care of him. That's his wife. She knows him better than anybody. His daughter, your child, when you have a daughter, they want you, to always be their hero. When you have a wife, they're there to love and to cater to you. So, you know, if he chooses his wife, he got to always be there to show up for and defend and pay, daddy, I need that. You got to do that. But with your wife, at least you can get something in return that you can't get with your daughter. Because she somewhere built giving some other man that. Your daughter is giving some other man what Jackie is supposed to be giving her husband. Because her daughter's husband, he's going to feel the same way about their kids. This is my wife. When I was at my cousin's wedding the other weekend, I stayed with her and her husband. And the way he was telling they 1-year-old, don't be hitting my wife. This my wife. This my woman. Don't be hitting her. And I was in the other ear, and I was in his other ear. Don't touch my cousin. We don't even know you like that. You just got here. I've been knowing her. I've been having her back. So pump your brakes. Nah, Lil Woody, pump your brakes. You've been here a year and you already got things confused. But let big cuz help you figure out what we not gonna do. And his daddy was like, "You goddamn right. That's my wife." Because so kids better recognize, because hey, when you got a good woman and she doing right by you, these men ain't even gonna let the kids. They gonna tell you, "All right, now get your shit together now, cause we ain't finna have that in here." Nah, your mama said enough is enough. And enough is a damn enough. Because I need my back rubbed, and my balls rubbed, and my food cooked, and my feet rubbed, and who gonna, trim my nose hairs when I can't, and all that kind of stuff. Not you. You got a husband and churn of your own. So, Chantel, good luck. Good luck to you, ma'am. Questions, concerns, comments about the Christies before I move on and take a peek in between the next beef that we're seeing, the presidential beef between Trump and Obama. He said Obama should be locked up for treason. I could have swore they was homies. Wasn't they just chit-chatting, nallywhacking, and Peter-packing and giggling like old school girls at who died? The man Fume? The man Fume. Carter. Jimmy Carter, wasn't it? They was real chummy and giggly over there in the corner. That wasn't that long ago. So when he wanted him to be arrested for treason, did he tell him that at the funeral when they was laughing? President, Mr. Carter, Jimmy Carter, him. At the funeral, they was over there like, I was like, oh. I was like, this ain't gonna go well. When I saw it, I actually was like, this ain't gonna go well with the black delegation. Mm-mm. He was sitting right next to Obama, Jasmine, and they was kiki. The news talked about it. The news even highlighted the fact that Obama and Trump was over off to the side being antisocial with everybody else because they was over there laughing and kicking. It wasn't just Trump laughing and kicking. Obama they was linked into each other. My boy. Hey, my boy. Hey, swoop. Peace side. White House. You Trump, my boy. Hey. They was, and the news was talking about it because they was offended. Yes, Kamala was pissed. It was some other political high society people that walked in, and they was scooting past them, and they wouldn't even look up and greet the people because they was you see that, boy? Kamala just kept doing this here, flicking her hair. She did towards the end. I saw it because the news showed it. She did turn around and give Obama. They greeted each other, but when she turned back around, she had them lips pursed together, and it wasn't even a chit chat. She turned around like, Obama, my nigga, what's up? What's up with my dad? And he was like, what's up? Anyway, Trump, boy, you see what I said in that game, boy? You see, boy, hey, I put all my money on that. Cause that's what my ex-husband homeboys used to do when they got excited or when they was playing gambling or something. Throw whatever out and what y'all ain't from the South if y'all don't know about that. And you ain't never played nothing if you don't know about that. That got anybody excited. You ain't never played nothing with no money on the line if you ain't hit that. Now, JD, I wasn't gonna say that on the public live, but yep, Michelle wasn't there. All of them was just like, oh, so they gonna sit over there like they BFFs, right? So now, a few months later, it's like, oh, treason. I'm telling y'all, they group chat, they group text each other and be like, hey, check this out. Hey, dog, how about I'm finna say you need to be arrested for treason? Obama was just like, yep, according to script, that's how this is supposed to go. All right, and then y'all, hold on, let me, zoop. That's the message going, zoop. That's the message going. And then y'all got to make sure that y'all stay coming for me about the Epstein list, right? Y'all got that, right? Y'all got the news and the media on deck, right? Zoop. Yep. Say, dog, I got it. You know, gang got that. They gonna hate you for real by tomorrow. Zoop. Especially after you come after me for treason. Zoop. Say less, my boy. See you later for golf. All right, bro. Zoop, zoop. Tell you. That's how that group chat goes. And y'all want to know why Kamala mad? Because she ain't in it. That's why Kamala really was looking like that at the funeral. Because she found out at the funeral. Because y'all don't think that when they showed them all come out to their seats was the first time that they spoke to each other that day. No, they was probably in the back room having cocktails, cigars, laughing, joking, politicking. Then when they came out, it was time for the cameras to roll, and they had to look like they was all, you know, seeing each other for the first time. What happened was the whole group chat was back there in the back room, and Kamala found them in the room huddled up together, laughing and kicking, and she was like, "Wait a second, hey, y'all in here having fun without me, huh? Let me get a shot of that." And they was like, No, this is for we just brought just a little bit. It's just enough for us. Ain't even that much left, and I'm gonna kill this. So yeah, y'all just got here, or y'all? No, we came together actually. Party bus. I listen. I didn't plan it. They the Trump, he, well, that Trump, he sure knows how to pack the bitches. I mean, the 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 obituaries. He had the obituaries in the bus, and we just decided that since we were all just we all live in the same neighborhood and we're all, going to the same place, so we might as well just, yeah. That's how Kamala found out that she wasn't in the group chat, or she didn't get to ride the party bus to the funeral with the rest of them. And I'm being funny, but in all actuality, they were literally, Obama and Trump were literally just at Jimmy Carter's funeral, being very friendly with each other. It's so much so that the news made a point to point out the fact that they were laughing and being chummy with each other the entire time and not really talking to anybody else. They were trying to say that they were being rude, actually. I watched the clips for myself, and they look like good Judies. And like I said, I thought, oh, blacks ain't gonna be happy about this because they need Obama to hate Trump. But they look like presidents are supposed to, on point with each other. Everybody's information, doing their job. And then we get to the Epstein list. Now I'm gonna read this stuff, but let me tell you guys again, for the newbies here who didn't hear this the last time I mentioned it. I see this Epstein situation like I saw the ASAP Rocky trial and the Diddy trial. Theatrics. Want to know why? Because about 10 to 15 years ago, in my sleuthing, in my searching of information and accumulating some of the knowledge you guys know me to just spew out today, 10 to 15 years ago, somewhere I went down a rabbit hole online and I came across some transcripts and the flight list for the Epstein flight list 10 to 15 years ago. Like I mentioned before, it was on some message board. It wasn't a thing back then, but it was there. It was multiple of them, multiple flight logs, actually. And I read transcripts of victim testimony of victims who came out against Epstein and others. This was 10 to 15 years ago. So imagine how entertaining and theatric it is for me today when I'm watching them play y'all. Like this list just became a thing when 10 to 15 years ago, before they needed to use it to entertain you guys. It was just somewhere being passed around in rabbit holes on the internet. Not on the main pages. You had to, find yourself in some places, not the dark web, but it was there. You just had to be looking into those kind of things back then. But I saw it. So I can tell you whose names are on it because I saw the list before it became a thing and they needed to use it to tantalize you guys like they use the baby oil. And let me tell you, nobody that you want to hold near and dear to you was not on that list. I saw everybody on there, including your beloved President Obama, including Trump, including a lot of people that I know to be important, but since they're not celebrities, you guys wouldn't think twice about, but you should and you would if you knew who they were and what their significance was. So my thing was like all of them were, including the people who are coming against Trump from both sides. All of them. I saw people from both sides. Today, I'm sure that's scrubbed, but I'm not scrubbed and neither is my memory. So today, I sit back and kiki. I'm reading this to entertain you guys just like they are because 10 to 15 years ago, it was there. And it was more pure than probably what they're planning or trying to show you guys now. If they ever did show you guys something, I promise you it wouldn't be the one I saw. And it wouldn't have the testimonies of some of the women and young women who were aboard, you know, who were allegedly trafficked on these alleged flights. There were investigations a decade ago, literally, because I read transcripts. I did. I did. I read flight logs. I read transcripts. And the most juicy stuff isn't the flight log. It's what they were doing on the island. And it wasn't the orgies that I found most intriguing. It wasn't the orgies. That was to arouse energies. It was the other things that a girl like me found most intriguing. So I will read the charade. I will read the theater show. I will read it. And hopefully we can see why they are entertaining us like this. Because if you guys just focus on baby oils and Trump being on a list, just one president being on a list, y'all worried about one president on the list? I can think of four that I saw with my own two eyes. Four of them. And that's just what I remember right now. Because back then, I didn't give a shit. I was more concerned with the testimonies of some of those children. Some of the models who told heartbreaking stories about children that they'll never see again because of the things that they saw happening to them on that island. People are traumatized. Y'all worried about one president? Child, they playing with y'all real bad. When I heard about this, every time I see it in the news, I just be like, somebody get me the fuck up out of here, please. Because I've gotten myself to a point where existing here requires a lot of effort for me. It requires me to turn myself down a lot just to coexist in this world, because y'all are really playing on people's tops. And what can I say to the people around me who are so, yo, you heard what they said about Trump in that list? I just have to sit there and just be like, no, don't care. I remember when I first came across it, Trump was not the most important name that I was interested in. He wasn't a president at the time. He wasn't a president-elect. Nobody was thinking about him being president. So to me, he was just another rich man. But there was someone there. Nevertheless, here we go. Not saying that I was surprised to see them on there, but I thought, okay, it made me want to keep my eyes on them for certain things, because of who they are and their positions in the world. I mean, my God. All right, Most High Mother and Father God, these people playing with our tops when it comes to that Epstein list and his death and all of that, because I read that too. Y'all remember that? And I told y'all, I don't see that man being gone to glory. It's too valuable. And I didn't say he's too valuable to let go to waste. He has a niche talent and gift. And he would never tell, because who would he have told on? Who would he have told to? He had nobody to answer to. Surely not these courts. Child. All right. Most High Mother and Father God, when it comes to the Epstein list that America wants to crucify Trump over, and I was supposed to be reading him and Obama, but My eyes didn't deceive me about him either, because he was on that bitch too, the one I saw, and the two presidents before him. Couple Kennedys, and I'm just giving you guys the names that I know you'll know. But I saw Mr. and Mrs. What? On multiple of the flight logs, because like I mentioned, back then, when it wasn't such an interest to the general public, people could leak stuff and then it just, fly under the radar. So it was a lot of flight logs. Somebody released a lot of them. And a couple names was repeated. Child spirit. What is this charade show with forget the beef between Obama and Trump for now. I might touch on that. What is this charade show with the Epstein list? Spirit. Why why is the media so interested and invested in trying Trump for being on Epstein's list? Child. I know they can't wait for us millennials and the generations above us to hurry up and expire so that all the things we know and experienced can go with us. And then they can run game on y'all, because where y'all gonna get the facts from? Not a virtual reality where information can be there one day and then disappear in a second. Not when, if y'all start getting too above yourselves and waking yourselves up too much, they can just shut all the lights off in this bitch. Turn the electricity off on the world. Since everything is ran off of a supercomputer, then what y'all gonna do? Because once all of us die out, ain't nobody gonna remember nothing about how life used to be before the virtual reality, the new world order came in. So when they turn the supercomputer off, ain't nobody gonna know what to do. Y'all can't DoorDash. So where y'all can get y'all food from? Because y'all ass is not cooking. Your asses is not cooking. You don't know what fresh produce is anymore. You can't pick up something, knock on a melon to tell if it's ripe. You don't like shit with seeds in it, even though shit, so it's supposed to have seeds in it so that it can reproduce itself. Might be a hassle digging them out, but it's okay. God forbid y'all have to grow something. Because y'all be trying to in-house grow now, and that's fine. But you still got to have you still got to know how to make some shit shake in the real dirt. Because if they cut the lights off on the world, I'm just saying. I seen a post the other day on Shade Room, and I hate how they post topics that they claim somebody else made and then say, neighbors, what y'all think, or what y'all think about that, so that they can get everybody's collective opinion about something. Now that's just a big old database for machines and technology to learn from, for AI to learn all you guys' opinions, your emotions, your thoughts about the most random topic. Anytime they put what y'all think about this, neighbors, what y'all feel, stuff like that, I just be like, please don't do that, y'all. Please don't do that. Because how y'all think AI, it's just a big database. It's just a big database of your collective consciousness. So but anyways, why is there such a big deal about President Trump being on the Epstein list when the list existed a long time ago? People saw it, and the same was accusing him of being on there were on there. I saw it with my two eyes. So please help me understand why they're doing this. Look, nothing will come of this situation. Nobody going to fucking jail. That man, listen, so what if they expose him for that? Didn't they try to put him in prison before? So what What more can they say about Trump to make people hate him even more? People despise him. They expect him to do things that they don't like. So why try him in the court of public opinion for allegedly being on this list and continue to run it in the media with no actions behind it? It's the media shenanigans for me with no actions. When they were ready to go and snatch Diddy up, they just snatched him up. They did. There were no months of headlines. Feds looking into Diddy for RICO. Feds getting closer to snagging Diddy for baby oil orgy extravaganza. Feds investigating Diddy's months to lead up to them snatching him. They just snatched him. When they really want to try you or pretend like they want to try you, they'll play the game. Nothing will come of this situation. First and foremost. So take time to breathe out. You guys divest your energy and your emotions for using this as your hill that Trump should die on. And if you are a regular here, then you've heard me say, what will be shall be. And maybe, just maybe, this is what is deserved at the moment. It's what you guys ask for in a government. I mean, what they give you is what they give you. But if you keep asking the government and electing the government officials to do things, then you're subject to the government doing what they want to do with the government they establish. It's their game board. So divest, at least from this Trump and Epstein situation. Breathe out. Don't get so riled up when they try to stoke the flames in the media, because nothing will come of this situation. A new start is coming, but in reverse. So a new start is not coming. You guys are not going to have this big aha moment with Trump being revealed as being on that list. All of them and more were on it. Your faves included. I promise you your faves were on there, because I know who the faves of the general public are. It ain't like the general public supports more than a handful of people. And not saying the most lowly celebrities on there, but 2 of y'all faves was on there. And I'm just talking about regular celebrities that people stand over multiple times. Multiple times. Heads of foundations, organizations that are supposed to be good, well and good in society. These are these aren't just friends. This is I would say family, because I wanted to say brotherhood and sisterhood. And that's just what it is. And everybody takes turns acting a role when it's time, depending on what the play is. Be bold and make the first move. Expect powerful change. It's time to take action. This is a message to the people who get invested into this. If it was time to take action, you wouldn't have to expect powerful change in reverse, and be bold and make the first move is in the reverse. Ain't nobody doing nothing. Y'all know how easy it is for you to get snatched up even on a traffic ticket, especially if you're someone whom society considers not worth being kind to. Black people have been snatched up way quicker for much less at traffic stops. So if they want you, they take action. They don't just play with it. Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. In the wise words of Lola Brooks. Spirit, why will nothing come of this situation? I see the card here, but why? Why won't anything come of this situation per this card? Because all of this is alleged, but this card says nothing will come of this situation. So why, Spirit? Why not? Why won't anything come of this situation with Trump in the Epstein list? Why not? One card for nothing will come of this situation. Well, in order to proceed with one, you'd have to turn your back on the other two. And not the other two, but the other also. This is a show. It's discovery. But it's not actually taking action to get any results. It's making plans, but that's it. If I got the Three of Wands, I would say they are expecting at some point to be able to take him down, even if it's not now. This, though, is like, yeah, I'm about to, it's jumping at somebody. But not really doing nothing. Why, though? Because this person is a merchant, and he's standing in his established castle situation. All the parties are affixed. They're a part of this castle, looking over into the waters like an island. It seems that the elites together, meaning everybody who's a part of this castle, they all go to the island. And nothing will come of this situation because in order to pursue one, there's another one right behind it. Now, if they really were serious about pursuing Trump, Trump has to do is say, okay, well, all of us was there. But he doesn't say that, even though they persecute him in the media and act like he's the only one of them that's on it. That's because he doesn't care either. He's just as much in on things in the theatrics as they are. Because if I was accused of something as much as he was in that Epstein list, and I know I didn't, or at least if I know I did, and I know that they were really trying to take me down, I'd be like, bitch, you was there, you was there, you was there, so I don't know why you coming for me because you did this, and this, and I didn't even do that. He's not doing that, and they're not chasing after him with cuffs. Because if you're a part of this royal establishment, this castle, and if you are a merchant, meaning an elite, then you go to the island. Now, Spirit, why go to the island? What's so special about the island? They can have orgies anywhere if it's just an orgy. They can do it anywhere. What's so special about all these people going to this island? Page of Swords in reverse, privacy. They go here for privacy, and something about it is like off the grid. Something about it is off the grid. There might not be satellites there to pick up what they're doing there. Something like that. They also allegedly take people with them as possessions. They keep it cute by saying trafficking, but I want this card is the miser. He has something in possessions, dominion over it because it's under his feet, holding it with two hands close to his chest, away from the city and the community. Some of these people that are being taken with them, in my opinion, and allegedly to this island, are taken against their will. In fact, the most important people, besides the participants, aren't the escorts or prostitutes, I believe. It's the people that they take against their will. I believe that there are children who never make it back. Now, the world is a card of international travel, across seas travel. I believe there are some children who never return. The world in reverse. Upright, a complete cycle. Go on a trip, come back, it was great. And even this, it's not a child, but it looks like one. And its facial features, not the body features. Wrapped in like a purple cloth. Seeing this alone invokes images of sacrifices and rituals. This purple cloth, purple is a very spiritual color, first of all, and has a lot of significance esoterically. It's attached to sacrifice esoterically, power. People use purple candles in domination rituals because of the power to dominate or the power to possess. So it's a dominant and powerful color. It's the color of the crown chakra, the highest chakra closest to the receiving divine influence. It gives me some children don't return from these trips because of the rituals that are involved. Some of them may not be meant to. If they're being taken as possessions, then they have a specific purpose for being taken against their will on these trips where they don't return from, allegedly. It's just my imagination running away with me. I'm not going to go into detail that much, but you guys make of what they do over there. What are they taking from them? What do you mean what are they taking from them? I mean that I believe that they take some people, specifically small humans that are minors, against their will to this island to do certain things to them, and some of them do not come back because they are meant to be offered there for a purpose and not return. I think that there are bodily fluids that are involved, amongst other things, that are released from some of these alleged hostages after encountering situations that cause them to release bodily fluids. Something about the bodily fluids of an innocent child is important. Seems to have some sort of power. Defiling them before the release of their fluid. I see hunts to increase adrenaline, and then a physical act of violence, and then the release of not just the bodily fluid, but also the hormone or chemical that releases with it after those two previous experiences. There's something about consuming that fluid when it's freshly poured. You have to consume it right away in order to get what you are attempting to get from the fluid. I believe, according to my imagination and this card. It seems as though doing so raises one up their chakra systems to a more divine or godlike state quicker than doing the work like most of us do. Living a certain lifestyle, doing rituals, eating clean, trying to live. That helps raise our consciousness to our higher state as well, but more slowly. Drinking this, though, seems to be like a Red Bull for doing that. It takes you right up. The only problem is it's not permanent. It'll take you to that ecstatic, high vibrational state, and it'll keep you there for a while. It's like taking DMT, and then they go and have these profound experiences and visions, and then they come back, and then their lives are changed based on the visions that they saw in that. It works like that, I believe, but for them, in order to maintain this state for them, because their livelihood depends on them continuing to be gods of society, that there comes the repeated act, the need to repeat this act. I think the possessed people that I think are little people are offered. And then a master of ceremony comes with a ceremonial sword here. And I believe what's required is an innocent child. So don't look for them to, really, really, really crack down on Trump for the Epstein list spirit. Why the charade of it all? That's what I want to know. Why use this why use this? Because I would have never thought that it'd be a thing like it is today. Why use the Epstein list to pretend like they're going to do something if they're not? Why use this one thing instead of something else? Two of Cups. I think it's because, yeah, it's difficult. Children not come back. I see Trump here, the Magician in reverse, because it's a Gemini card. There could be information that they want from Trump. They could be using this to, I don't even think it's to call his bluff. What is this Two of Cups spirit? That's so interesting to me. I'm sorry, you guys. Now let me look at this Trump card. King of Wands. It's like, okay, so I see Trump here. And what I see from him is that when he was just a businessman, it seems that he was involved with things and people that he had to leave behind, as if he wasn't involved in the same things they were. I see that here off to the side. Adapt and put it out. In order to recover, they need to adapt and put it out. Now, the Fool card, families. I think there are some families that are trying to take some sort of definitive action. I am going to say that there are some families or some entities that are aware of children that went missing that they can attach to this Epstein situation. These people are trying to get some sort of action taken on behalf of these children who went missing, that they are probably going to try and say went missing due to the Epstein situation. Trump is a great fall guy. If the families or anybody who is invested or knew personally those children that went missing, that they, over the years have been able to tie back to people on that list. And it seems like somebody is trying to, then instead of taking everybody out, they can just tie it to the person who everybody would suspect for that, so to speak. Somebody that isn't like a celebrity, somebody close to being victimized by that whole scandal. Seems like they may have joined together in order to try to get some action done, having strength in numbers. Somebody wants to uncover something about that, but they have to control the narrative. Because if it's uncontrolled and we hear about it from the victims, then they're going to tell the truth, and they're not just going to allow us to think that it's isolated to one person. So get ahead of it and make everybody think it's isolated to one person like they did Diddy. That whole shit show was a circus too, because they had no intention of really charging him for a RICO. If we say Diddy's enterprise did all these things, then somebody else can come back probably after the entities that enable his enterprise, his partners and such. If they took Diddy down for a RICO, then everybody who's been rightfully so victimized by someone in the power structure, they're going to come out for all of them and think that they can really get justice in situations where they cannot really get justice. But now we have kind of that burden off of our collective consciousness, because yeah, we know that Diddy was involved in some stuff, but now we don't care anymore. It's like the trial sucked all of everybody's energy. And then by the time he got sentenced, Diddy had more supporters probably than he's ever had in his entire career. Because Diddy has a long history of having a bad name with how he treats people. But that was a charade too, because now, it's like we unburden ourselves with what we suspected to be a lot of guilt. They didn't come after him for the Kim Porter situation. That's something that we hung over his head. Not the Biggie situation. That's something we hung over his head. All those other situations, because they didn't pursue him for anything else except baby oil, that sends a subconscious message to the collective conscious that he didn't do it. If the feds, and we're talking about the feds, if they didn't come after him for that stuff, then he must have not done it. Now we have unburdened ourselves with all of these question marks that we've collectively been holding over Diddy. And now he's almost energetically pretty much free of whatever he's really done in the past that nobody's going to dig up anymore, because they had their opportunity to get him for the Big Bang and they didn't. So that's how this works. Even if there's no intention to really pursue Trump for it, let's make everybody think we are. Just in case the victims or families of victims bring attention to their story about this and we can't bury it, then we can say the big bad Trump did it, and there's no way we can take him down because he keeps weaseling himself out of getting justice. So it's not our fault. We've been trying to take him down, but he's the big bad monster dictator who we can't seem to slip up. We can't seem to catch him. So yes, we agree that these things happen, and we agree that Trump did it. And unfortunately, he just keeps doing manipulative things that none of us can stop him from. So we can't do anything about it. But we agree with you that he's the monster. That's that with that. Questions, concerns, comments, because I'm getting ready to go and do my members live. Pay for what crimes? JD, which one specifically? And pay in what way? Like in court? I'll ask. But what crimes? To be honest, I don't think Trump committed as many crimes as he was accused of. And the ones that he did commit, I think all of them, I don't want to seem like I'm letting him get off, but let's not start and stop at Trump if that's the case. I have shared my the link to join my members channel before Bryce's or Breeze's. So go scroll down my page. It's not that far down either. In my post, you'll see the link to join my members live. But I'll ask JD for you. Oh, you mean in the afterlife? What we consider crimes? Are we the judge of that? What if the crimes that we think he committed, he didn't? Because again, he's a politician. And for every time we are electing politicians that we don't agree with just off the fact that that's what we're supposed to do, then it's not a crime if we give our consent. I always mention consent for that very reason, because that's the reason why people pray and wait for certain people to get karma, and then they get frustrated and discouraged when they don't see it happens. In what way do you give your power away to these people so that when they use it or abuse it, they're not wholly wrong because you gave it to them? And if they've been showing us who they are since we've been in this nation against our own will, then why are we still putting trust in anything that they tell us or any systems that they say benefits anyone but themselves, and we haven't been benefited? Not once. Not once since we've been here. And we've been doing it the right way the entire time that we had the right to do it the right way. I was senior class president. I didn't think I was going to win. I was pretty popular with everybody. I got along with everybody. All the cliques, all the groups, the nerds, the baddies, the athletes, the arts kids, everybody. I fit in with everybody. That's how I won, but I didn't think I would. I didn't think I would. But in my life, I'm always in leadership positions, always being called to them, or I always find myself in them. So I'm not someone that is energetically inclined to electing people to do things for me. When I was in the union at my last job, I had such an issue with the way that they handled things, so I withdrew very quickly. After that, and after they wanted to know why I withdrew, and I explained it to them, they started begging me to become a shop steward in the union. I refused for years until we got a new union president who was a young black man, and the outgoing president was also a black man. He begged me and he said, I don't think he can be as successful as he thinks he can without somebody like you. Because you're tough, you know your stuff. And he said something else. And he even said, I know you don't want to do it, but we want you to do it so that we can groom you for a position in Tallahassee. That's where we would like to take you. They wanted to get me into politics. And I was like, absolutely not. However, I've never seen the benefit of electing anybody else if I think that I can do a better job at it. And since I'm not in the position to lead myself, then you can't make me. You can't make me choose anybody. I choose me by not choosing you. That is how I actually don't give my consent to things. So my life is what I make it, because that's kind of how I live my life. I don't beg anybody to come in and fix anything for me. The first thing I do is I go and figure it out. And if I can't, I call in my spirits, help me figure it out. And we do. I come from a mother who never got anything from the system other than what she worked for, even when she tried to get help. So it's always been easy for me and my sisters to not give so much consent to the system, because we never really benefited from it, even when we by all means should have qualified to benefit. So since all we've ever known was getting it from the muscle, it's easy for me to live this way now and just be the master of my life. Not saying I'm not subject to what the system does, because I live here, but they can only do what I don't have the ability to do because I live in the system. Everything else, I don't look to them people. I don't even know them people. I don't know them. And people lie. Why would I let somebody get up here and tell me what they're going to do for me, knowing people be lying? The fuck? Y'all baby daddies lie. People that y'all create families with. But y'all trust a stranger to look out for your best interests? I think that's ludicrous. And they've shown us time and time again that they're the only ones eating. So I just feel like if every 4 years y'all want me to choose one of y'all, I'll wait. I'll just wait it out. I'll wait until there's no more of this charades going on, and when there's an opportunity for something fresh to come about. And then I'll try to be a part of the revolution and the solution. But ain't no solutions in this. It's going around and around in a circle and saying, no matter what they show me, I still hope that they can do better at my life than I can. I don't give that kind of consent to nobody. So in that regard, if I demand karma, they might get hit, because I don't give them consent to ruin my life and make it harder for me. I don't. I'm here against my will. I was born here, If my parents and grandparents fought to be a part of this system, I didn't. So I revoked that contract that I'm under by birth, and I actually feel like they've been harming me. So I think they should be handled accordingly. And I think I should get reparations one way or the other. So if man's court don't give it to me, spiritual court will. Because I didn't ask for this. And I choose to not be a part of it. Until somebody comes up with something that benefits everybody. I'm for community. I'm for equity and fairness. So that's why I have to ask, like, when people say, are they gonna pay? Pay for what? And then pay to whom? And then who's going to order that payment? But I will ask that question, and then I'll head on out. Spirit, for any crimes that Trump has committed or has been perceived to commit against humanity, will he pay in his living life or in his afterlife? Will he have to pay for any crimes against humanity that humanity feels he has committed? I'll ask. The spirits might pull out the judgment card or the justice card. Thank you, Murad. Neither of those cards. Trump is the juggler who is supposed to make things topsy-turvy. My members should already know that because we've talked about his position and what he's meant to do. He's the juggler who's meant to flip things upside down and rearrange things. He's doing what the heavens said he had the ability to do. So it's a part of the plan. Not both parties. Is he a Republican Party? Both parties. He stands in between two of them. There is never really any true, genuine division. And when you have somebody, a member from a party that truly, genuinely disagrees, they fucking leave. They leave politics or they leave that party. It's a charade. The president stands in the middle and both parties. Sometimes one gets the upper hand, sometimes one doesn't, but look how close they are. And they're both affixed. This one by the leader, so whoever y'all elect, they uphold their party in their hand. But the other one is affixed. They're not mortal enemies. They're each other's resources. They're just resources. Democrats and Republicans, you guys are resources. Not enemies. Resources. The contract, now the Lovers is ruled by Mercury, Gemini actually, which means there's something contractual, something not emotional, because it's not ruled by a cup. It's ruled by an air sign. You usually see the Lovers in partnerships, agreements, contracts, partnership agreements. In reverse, though, that agreement would have to be revoked in order for any of them to be doing anything wrong to you. The contract with the government would have to be revoked. Participation from this partnership would have to be removed from one party in order for the other party to say one party has removed consent. If the other party continues to act in this way, they are now committing a crime. That's the only way. You have to remove your consent from the system if you want to see somebody get punished for something. Because when we were created as human beings, we were supposed to be sovereign and fight off any attacks against us to overcome or overpower us as a human being. That is our divine right. from the spiritual force and the energetic force that we were created from and with. The Lovers in reverse, because I believe that's getting out of the partnership, the consent, removing your consent. It would require you from exiting from the matrix. You would have to be in exile to the matrix. You have to go the other way when everybody's going one way. Getting out. Because as human beings, born from the divine mother, the divine feminine, we are under subjugation. All of humanity is under subjugation. Divine mother, divine father. This is not the way that they were intended to be. The only government should be the heads of household, because man should only govern over their own, meaning they own children, they own family. And then each family should act as an ambassador or something like that. But according to these cards, government is meant for families. Parents are to govern, not a government. Which is why parents have to raise their children accordingly. And parents have to be responsible for their families and creating something for their family so that there's no need for anyone else to really establish how families are going to live. A stranger, imagine a stranger coming in and running your life and your parents' life. When your parents are the ones who acted as gods, got together and created a human without the consent of their government. So it's our birthright to only be governed by our parents until the age that we become natural adults. And it's the parents' job to govern their estates accordingly. If man and woman and human can't get that together, then you will be asking for somebody else to fix it for you. And therefore your rights to demand any kind of justice are revoked because of the agreement that you made. I can't do it, so you do it for me. I don't see him getting karma. I don't see him being punished for anything that he's doing until the government falls and then they start showing dictatorship. Right now, even if they are dictators, they don't have to outwardly be because people still elect them. So I'm off to my members live, Revelation 15 tonight. I'm sorry about Monday, but I did try. Phoenix Indigo knows because I went live 3 times trying to do our usual members live. I stayed on there for about 4 minutes each time. It seems like YouTube would not let anybody know. So write them a letter and tell them to stop sabotaging me after I do significant readings. See my members soon. The rest of y'all, love you, bye.